Today's top story from the perspective of someone who's there.
You are looking live.
This just in.
Not my beat.
All right, the top story today, if we're being honest, is the hirings and the press conferences that I was at earlier. But close second was Commanders minicamp. And the top story from Commanders minicamp was the fact that they were, typically minicamp is outside, and today it was inside. Sam Fortier, did you survive the walk in the 236 AQI or through the parking lot to the bubble?
Barely, somehow. And I've now made it to BWI. So if you hear any airport-wide announcements, please excuse those, and I will try to give the best analysis possible.
Excellent.
Them.
I wish I knew your flight number so I could just fake a boarding call at some point in the background. That'd be a fun trick to play on you. Wait, is that coming from my phone? Is it coming from the whatever? All right, so I'm going to be honest, Sam. I have no idea what happened out there today because we were, locked in with everything going on with the Wizards. And scrolling through your Twitter feed, seemed like there's some good competition, some picks down in the red zone. Safety seemed to have a good day, but as you walked back through the bad air quality back to the media annex after practice, what was kind of the big takeaway?
Yeah, I think today was a lower key day, obviously, because of the air quality. They were inside. There's not enough, there's not a lot of room to move around in there. And a couple guys got vet days, Kendall Fuller, Charles Leno among them. And so, I would say it wasn't the most insightful day, but obviously, they still got that work in. And I think it's most valuable at this time of the year to say, hey, we need to learn the offense. We need to get our P's and Q's down as opposed to showing explosion or some of those other things. So today, probably the most notable stretch, the thing that got talked about, at least on Twitter most or among the fans there and the beat writers, was there was a stretch, I believe it was 7-on-7 and then 11 on a red zone. They kind of did those periods back to back. And Sam Howell was really up and down during those. He threw back-to-back picks at one point. Then he threw 3 touchdowns in a row. It was kind of a seesaw sort of day from him.
It seems like that's where we've been with Sam, and we're kind of getting to the point where it's time to answer the question of what do they do in the fall. They've got one more practice, I know, on Tuesday, but when they get there in the summer and it's time to split up the reps, do you think Sam will get all of the 1 reps to start training camp, and then if he doesn't, kind of steady, then maybe they start introducing some to Brissett? Or do you think that we go into the summer with those 2 guys splitting reps and a real quarterback competition being on, considering how up and down Howell has been throughout this mini camp and the previous OTA sessions?
Wow, Craig, that is such a smart, insightful question that I asked a very similar version to Ron after practice. I basically said, had Sam shown you enough to retain his QB1 status basically heading into training camp? He said yes. He said, we've seen what we needed to see. He is a young guy. He's going to make mistakes. There's going to be a learning curve. But, we have all the confidence in the world in him, and he confirmed basically what we thought. Is that a coach maybe playing it up a little bit for his quarterback to show that he has trust and faith in him? Maybe. But I do think that legitimately it's still Sam Howell's job to lose. I don't think that he has either gained or lost standing during minicamp. And if he continues to make some of those, mistakes, one of the picks was really bad today, underthrown, back right corner of the end zone. Troy Apke, yes, Troy Apke is still there. He intercepted the ball, and it was a really ugly pick. But to me, it's really hard to say that, Jacoby Brissett is now nipping at his heels to be QB1 in week 1.
Sam, I got to say, the number of people that said to me after the last 2 weeks when I showed up for one day and asked Ron questions in the press conference, you ask really great questions in press conferences, was significantly higher than it should have been. I just was like, do you guys not, do I ask bad questions on the radio show? That was unexpected? Is what's going on this beat that those are, these are just straightforward questions. What are we doing? Sam, can you help me with this? Why were people being so nice to me? Did I have something on my face and they just wanted me to feel good about myself?
My personal opinion is it's got to be just the absolute gulf between your radio questions and your presser questions. That's the only thing I can think of personally.
Oh, Anthony, why do we have him on the show again?
I wish I had the answer. But
that's right. It's in the Syracuse Mafia contract. He's not actually good. No. The great Sam Fortier with us here on the Hoffman Show. Team 980, always live as well. on the free Odyssey app. What did Chase do today? And I'm asking because they're always very careful with knee injuries on the turf, like during the season. If a guy's a little banged up, they might pull him from an indoor practice. So considering everything that he's going through, what did he do today with that knee brace on the turf because they were inside?
Yeah, I mean, he did most of the normal things. Like, he within individual, he did, a lot in team. But I honestly, it was kind of hard to tell if they were limiting him because of the knee injury or if they were limiting him, because, hey, he wasn't at OTAs and we're working these guys in, which they did with Montez and Charles Leno, like just sort of a standard procedure when they're away from the facility. You don't know 100% of what they're doing. So it's, hey, let's not, have these guys going 100 miles an hour. They're 3 days back with the team when meaningful snaps are still 3 months away. So, I mean, he didn't do everything, but I don't know if that was a direct result of, hey, he's got a knee injury and we're inside on the turf.
Got it. Emmanuel Forbes, I saw he made it, had his hands on a couple more footballs today. What have you made of his spring overall? And is he like definitive? I mean, not just because of draft status, but is he definitively the top guy locked in as CB1 based off of skill and where he is already?
Yeah, I think it's hard to say he's locked in as CB1 necessarily because, like, Kendall Fuller obviously has a lot of veteran savvy, and that doesn't really come out when you're in minicamp like this. But, I mean, to me, obviously Emmanuel and Kendall are different types of corners with some similar attributes. But I would say that if there is going to be a guy that you game plan to say, hey, we're playing Justin Jefferson and we're going to have a guy, shadow him, like, yes, I think right now that would be Emmanuel. I'm not saying that they should do that. I'm just saying, like, if you want to go CB1 by that definition, I think he's your guy right now. And I think that he has been impressive. I mean, I know you and Logan have talked about, does he get a little handsy sometimes? What is the makeup speed if he gambles and gets beat? But, like, as of right now, I think that in terms of minicamp for a rookie, he has looked pretty dang good, especially, breaking up some passes. And just, showing, I think, a savvy both in man and zone and, the physical attributes, the speed, all of those things have been pretty impressive.
Yeah, the savviness in zone is really impressive. There was a play yesterday. I had hesitated there because I was like, was it yesterday that I was at practice? Because today's been one of those days where it feels like it's been a whole week. But yesterday, where he and Benjamin St. Juste had some kind of miscommunication, and it was clearly St. Juste who messed up. And Forbes is like, hey, man, what are you doing? And St. Juste is like, yep, that's on me. And for the rookie to be so sure of himself and a veteran, and not trying to, like, dump on St. Juste here, but, like, for the veteran to be like, yeah, no, the rookie was right. That's my fault. I think it just kind of shows the command that he has of concepts of this defense, of kind of what his role is in it on any given play.
Yeah, and I think that is something that, like, that's why even when Emmanuel Forbes was moving into the slot, you were like, okay, this is probably not going to be their long-term solution. This is cross-training. This is exposing him to it so that if you have to make that move as an emergency one in games, that it's not the first time he's ever played in the slot. And so to me, like, we talked about the defensive backfield, we talked about the depth and the talent. I think going into week one, I mean, barring something unforeseen, injuries, whatever, someone balling out in camp, I think you're going to see Emmanuel Forbes and Kendall Fuller outside. And then in the slot, you have a lot of different options, whether, you want to have a big nickel, a regular nickel. I think there's a bunch of different guys, Quan Martin, Benjamin St. Juste, Rashad Wildgoose, Danny Johnson, that, if you play matchups or if you like certain things about where they're playing at the time. I mean, you have a lot of options inside of the nickel, and then obviously you can rotate those with the safeties. But I think Washington, they wanted to go out and fortify the defensive backfield. And right now, I think sort of almost in the opposite of the offensive line, I think I'm really bought in on what they did there.
Which brings us to the offensive line. Sam Fortier is with us here on the Hoffman Show. Team 980, always live as well on the free Odyssey app, streaming live on YouTube as well at youtube.com/@theteam980. Too bad, Sam, we don't have you on camera. BWI cam, that could be fun. You never see any weird stuff at an airport.
Dude, I was just thinking, like, apparently they're redoing one of the terminals here. They have, like, all those seats where you can sit and look out, and I was looking forward to sitting there and just chilling while we do this. But they're doing renovations. The seats aren't there, so I'm just stuck with, at some random gate with everybody else.
We got to get the Fortier luxury seats straightened out. That's, I mean, do they know who's flying through their airport today? All right, before I lose my train of thought, the offensive line. It is it is still a massive area of concern. I know that Bieniemy will set them up for success far better than they've been set up the past couple of years. But have you seen anything to ease your concerns about the personnel at that or in that position group this spring?
I mean, if you want to say the concern is they are old and unathletic and relatively immobile like they were last year at guard with Andrew Norwell and Trey Turner, I have seen, things to boost my confidence. And Sadiq Charles, I think, looks bigger and he looks definitely stronger than he has in years past. And he says he felt stronger. And Sam Cosmi, I do think, is going to, really transition nicely to guard. So I think those are the optimistic points. But, when you ask Juan Castillo or Travell Wharton or Ron Rivera, do you have a good handle on where your offensive line is at, considering, you have not done basically any run plays and you are in mostly shorts and shells and, no one is going 100% right now? Do you have a good sense of where your offensive line is at? They'll say, yes, but, they won't say it very confidently. And I think the grimace that Ron had before he answered the question yesterday really sort of paints the picture of, they believe in that they have built a good, deep offensive line, but, I don't think that they are quite as confident in it as they are in, say, the defensive backfield.
Good. Because last year it felt like they were so confident in it, and then it was instantly why? Why did you guys do this? At least there seems to be some self-awareness there, which maybe means that their eyes are open on what else is out there. And that's what I'll wind up asking you here, Sam, is between, I know you got one more practice on Tuesday, but between now and the start of training camp, anything that you expect roster-wise, what's the thing you're keeping an eye on besides, the vaunted, this bad thing happened, which is what every coach just dreads in July, something stupid happening. So outside of the random emergency, what do you keep your eyes on between now and training camp opening late July?
Yeah, I think it's mostly other teams' rosters. It's, hey, is there a surprise veteran cut? Is there a salary cap move? I don't think there is. We're past June 1st. The signings of Charles Leno and Bobby McCain in 2021 were pretty aberrational for this team. I mean, after the draft, Martin Mayhew and Ron Rivera always say, we're not done. But, outside of, those guys becoming surprisingly available, this team has never made unless I'm, completely forgetting something, has not made a significant starter addition after the draft, besides those two examples that I mentioned. So to me, it's can everyone stay healthy and stay out of trouble during the summer? Can they come back in good shape, ready to go, having remembered all of the scheme things? I mean, those are the most important things to me, because I don't think you're going to be incorporating someone new and significant come August or late July or whenever it is.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, you now apparently have a child somewhere close to you. I'm going to let you go and explore the rest of BWI. Go find some more construction. How long you got to your flight?
I hit the mute button. I thought I hit it in time, but I guess I did not. My flight is actually at 7:30, but my family is flying in from Portland, Maine, so we're all going to Savannah, Georgia for the weekend.
Nice.
So I'm waiting here for them.
Actually, is there good? My wife and I are looking at going to Portland, Maine for potentially for an anniversary trip coming up in August, because Maine's beautiful. Either do that or go over to Bar Harbor. Is the BWI to Portland, Maine flight path? That's a good one.
Dude, they are both Southwest hubs. My family is actually from a little island in Maine near Portland. My family is a lobstering family, so I've been taking the BWI to PWM flight. It's maybe $90 on a Tuesday night at 9 p.m. That is exactly what you need to hit, and I think you and your wife would love it.
All right, Rachel, if you're listening, go on southwest.com and let's look up those flights now. That is excellent to know, because let me tell you what, the flights out of DCA on American, those are not $90.
Dude, when I got hired at the Post, and I was like, oh, this is going to be so easy to get there and back, because it's my family's been doing it forever. Whenever we wanted to go anywhere when I was a kid, we would just fly Southwest through BWI and we go wherever. So I've been making this trip a long time. You should definitely get on board.
All right, that is good to know. And the Maine Tourism Bureau can now pay me $5 for what we've given them. Sam Fortier, everybody, enjoy the next 3 hours before your flight.
Yes, sir. I need it.
All right, man. I'll see you.
This is the Hoffman Show on the T980 and the Odyssey app.